The unfortunate news is that Ji Han-jae has passed away just before the age of 90 years old. I never trained with him or even met him, so I won't have any first-hand insight or experiences to share, but I still felt the need to talk about this given the background of my channel. And I'm not going to be getting into the controversies of Ji Han-jae versus Choi Young-sul as the founder of Hapkido either. I stated before that they both contributed their fair share to the art, and they can both be recognized. And for the sake of this video, I'll be referring to Master Ji as Dojunim, or founder, as so many have come to call him. And Hapkido is unique in that it does have roots dating back to older times with Daitoryu Aiki Jujutsu, but its founder was still with us in the modern era. Like, it's not an art that was just created in this generation, but it also doesn't have an old legendary founder like Jigoro Kano, for instance, in judo, who almost nobody living today has come in contact with. There are thousands, potentially millions of first-hand encounters with Master Ji that will be walking this earth for some time to come. And he was born at such a transformational time in Korea. Anybody that has a little bit of knowledge of Korean martial arts or Korean history knows that the era of the 30s to 50s was a turbulent time, to put it mildly, with the Japanese occupation in Korea. And there were a number of Korean martial artists that came up in this era that worked really hard to separate their own martial arts style from the Japanese styles that were forced on them beforehand. We've talked about Tang Soo Do and Taekwondo and their similarities to Japanese karate in the past, but Master Ji was at the forefront of these men that pioneered Korean martial arts, and in his case Hapkido, which many people think that he coined the name of, by the way. The fact is, he trained pretty much all of the first generation Korean Hapkido instructors that helped spread the art globally, including my instructor Young-Sok Kim, who we're going to talk about in a minute. He wasn't the first person to bring Hapkido outside of Korea, but it's an almost unanimous consensus that he was the biggest influencer of spreading the art westward early on. Almost everyone knows him for his role in Bruce Lee's movie Game of Death, where Bruce Lee praised his exceptional style and couldn't pass up on including him in his movie after seeing his abilities. A mostly unknown art at the time was put on the map, and it's exploded ever since. He did eventually make his way to the States in the 80s and established his federation, the Shinmu Hapkido Federation, which is still prevalent today. One of his biggest credits was expanding the art from its heavy focus on joint locks to incorporating kicking skills, which very on brand for Korea, and weapons techniques, especially with the danbong or short staff. He molded a complete art, which has arguments back and forth to this day, but many people claim it as a complete self-defense and personal harmony system. And yes, Master Ji was the first instructor of my grandmaster Young-S Kim back in the 50s in Korea, which is true of just about every Korean master of his generation. They didn't spend too many years together because Master Kim opened his own locations and then set out for Colombia in the 70s and later the States. But the impact that Dojunim had on him was very evident. My grandmasters did meet Master Ji on several occasions, and he did make appearances at Jongdo-ryu tournaments like this one in California in 1985. Although I never had the chance to meet him, I think I have a pretty good picture of his personality and his teaching style from different videos that I've seen and other accounts from people that have trained with him. He comes off as a strict but humble gentleman who related very well to students but still demanded the best from them. He liked to draw things back to the basics before letting them get too complicated, from what I know. Take this with a grain of salt, but this style reminds me of Master Kim Nam-jae, who's another master that came up under Dojunim, and he's operated his dojang in Seoul for decades now. I've trained with him twice, and I made a video about his school on my channel a couple of years ago. And I say this as a major compliment because I think the art of humility in martial arts gets lost easily, and egos get in the way. Masters like this have figured out a way to teach not with fear or a hunger for power, but a genuine love for the art and a passion for how it can benefit others. Most martial arts these days have split into so many federations and factions where everyone wants to be the boss and do things their own way. Just look at Taekwondo, for instance. I just got done praising Judo for being probably the most uniform art out there, in that most of the curricula practiced by everyone is the same and everyone essentially follows the same outline. Also, one of the reasons Judo has remained so globally consistent is that, unlike many martial arts that fractured into competing styles and wildly different curricula, Judo has stayed largely unified under a common technical and philosophical foundation. While there are several major federations like the International Judo Federation, or IJF, Kodokan Judo, and national governing bodies, most of them still adhere closely to the original techniques and structure laid out by Jigoro Kano. The core throws, pins, and submissions are nearly identical from Tokyo to Toronto, and the grading systems remain broadly compatible across organizations. It's probably the most unified major art in the world today. And Hapkido is not perfect. There are hundreds of federations across the world. Some practice forms, some don't. They don't all follow the same belt order, same class structure, or same techniques. But there's just this universal love for Master G and his role as Dojunim. Shinmu Hapkido is undeniably his, but virtually all federations practice across the world know him and look up to him, so I think something needs to be said about his efforts in unifying us. Hapkido isn't the most popular martial art in the world, it's probably not even top 10, but it is unique and important for the reasons that I stated, and it does have a special place in the global landscape. And it'll always be my number one and most prized art, and I owe a lot of my passion and love for the art to Jihanje. I pray that his family was able to spend his last days with him in peace, and that he felt fulfilled at the end of his life for his accomplishments. And rest in peace, Dojunim, an absolute legend and the cornerstone of this art of Hapkido that so many of us continue to practice, love, and enjoy. Thanks for watching.